After she was abducted and later released, Tanzanian journalist and activist Maria Sarungi Tsehai has narrated her harrowing ordeal in the hands of her abductors. Sarungi has revealed that she was choked several times, blindfolded and handcuffed for hours by her abductors who wanted to access her phone. But as NTV's David Muthaka reports, the Tanzanian journalist has said that if the attack was meant to intimidate her into slamming the brakes on activism, it has done the opposite, saying she will not stop nor relent criticizing the Tanzanian administration over unresolved abductions in the East African country.
Tanzanian journalist and activist Maria Sarungi Tsehai has revealed that she was ambushed by two masked men when leaving a salon in Kilimani while in a taxi at around 3 p.m. on Sunday.
I saw two individuals coming to both sides of the door, and then they were yelling at the driver. I started yelling with the driver. I was telling him, don't open the door, don't open the door. They cannot take me. I was screaming. After that, they managed to open the door and they started dragging me.
Despite throwing kicks at her abductors and screaming, Sarungi says she was eventually overpowered and bundled into a waiting black van. Two abductors immediately began to torture her in an attempt to confiscate her phone.
One kept choking me, asking me, where's my phone? Where's your phone? And I was just saying, why are you doing this with me? So there was all that communication, but I was not giving them anything. After a while, because they were also tossing me, they sat on my leg because I was kicking. I wanted to kick out the window, so I was kicking them. I kicked one of them on the other side, and that's when I realized he was the one who had the handcuffs. He tightened a lot the handcuffs. It was really hurting me, and they finally found the phone.
Maria claims that the abductors identified themselves as police officers who are taking her to a police station.
I told them it's not possible you're police because you abducted me. And the guy on the left who was holding the handcuffs got very angry and pulled and said, we didn't abduct you, we didn't abduct you.
After about 4 hours in captivity, Maria says the abductors resolved to let her go, albeit with firm instructions that included not turning back to look at their vehicle until they had completely vanished.
When I started off, the only thing I knew was I have to walk toward, because it was a very dark place. It was already dusk, and it was a rough road. So I walked until I got to what looked like a main road. I walked furthermore, and then I just saw two cars parked. And then I got into that vehicle, one of them, and I gave them where I live, basically in Kilimani. So I asked him to take me, and then I went.
According to Maria, things would have easily taken a turn for the worst had it not been for the noise made by fellow activists and Kenyans online when she was in the hands of her abductors. She claims the abductors were hell-bent on taking her back to Tanzania, where she fled more than 4 years ago, just as Ugandan opposition leader Kizza Besigye was abducted in Nairobi and whisked back to Uganda in November last year.
There was a point in time when I was convinced that I was about to be taken across, and I knew the minute I crossed, you would never hear from me again. I'll become another poster.
The activist believes her abduction is related to her criticism of the Tanzanian administration's inability to resolve past and present abductions, especially ahead of the general election in Tanzania planned for October this year. She has, however, affirmed that her abduction ordeal will not silence her.
I'm not a member of the opposition, but I speak up for them because they are under threat. People like Tundu Lissu, who have been shot, who barely survived, are still being targeted. For that reason, I cannot keep quiet.
Abductions of foreigners seeking protection and asylum in the country have been on the rise in recent months. Further, abductions of Kenyans have also been on the rise since June's Gen Z-led protests, with the government still denying any involvement in the harrowing incidents. Even after President William Ruto vowed to end abductions in the country, more abductions are still being reported. Does it mean that the government is incapable of ending the abductions, or maybe is the government involved in these cases? David Mudhoka, NTV, Nairobi.